Welcome back to All Stars 2020. Here at the State Farm Analyst Desk, we are gearing up for our finals of the North American 1v1 tournament. I've got Mark Z and I've got Freak by my side to do so. But first things first, I want to take a step back, reflect upon the day, because at the very top, I was so deeply disappointed, Mark, that you did not have more faith in our LCS Q Kings going into that matchup.
I mean, I'm a pessimist. I don't know what you want out of me. I thought that, you know, the fact that they had 3 former pros all on the top side of the map would have counted for something, but apparently not. Apparently Tyler 1 and Voyboy are just too dominant and taking over the bot side of the map.
Yeah, anyone who's been watching what they have been putting out with their content knows they really like to come in with that force freak, and I'm very happy also that we got to see some of the signature picks from our favorite personalities.
Yeah, and you had Yasuo kind of taking the knee because, you know, everyone refused to play any other lanes. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll just, you know, I'll engage for the squad. Don't worry about it. Brings up the Zac jungle and I think did swimmingly. You know, managed to withstand the support Varus attempted buff snipe. Like, that's well played. Got the gank off in mid. And, I mean, Yasuo was a big deal despite, you know, normally being the guy who's going to play a flashy solo lane. And yeah, at the end of the day, Voyboy in mid got to look cool, but credit where it's due to the jungle diff.
And of course, I'm still hooked at that top of the day because it's where the LCS came out on top for our Q Kings. But, you know, LEC came through over in there, 1v1 obviously, with Bwipo coming out on top, and then another victory against our LCS squad. But looking at what we do have coming ahead, because there's still a lot in store, specifically at the 1v1 tournament, the bracket that we've had thus far is pretty stacked. As tradition, it's a combination of pro players and personalities from the scene, and it's all led to this final moment between High and Licorice. Freak, you have been the one alongside Captain Flowers making the call throughout these rounds.
Yeah, and I'm going to say I heavily favor Licorice here. I feel like what we're seeing right now is fighters are in a really, really good spot. I know the 1v1 meta for a long time had been really exclusively control mages, a lot of Orianna or long-range marksmen like Caitlyn. And with the rule updates from, I think, 2019 onwards, you actually have a really large pool of viable champions, and so I like really, really heavily nod Licorice as a top laner, right? Play the Riven, play the Olaf, play the Pantheon, Renekton, whatever else you want to put in there. So he's my favorite for the Rebel 1v1 tourney. I think he's very likely the winner here. Maybe High can step up, but I feel like, you know, he busts out Lucian and he'll just lose.
Yeah, I feel like the Lucian pick was good for, you know, kind of using range and trading patterns and being able to all in when you see the opportunity. But against Licorice, who has shown a wider champion pool, he'll have more direct counters to just someone who wants to play the range game. We saw what kind of happened to Noe when he tried to play the range game against the top laner who knew what to do against it with whether it was Pantheon or Olaf. So I expect a similar champ pool out of Licorice there.
Yeah,
oh, sorry, please.
Good. Well, I was just making a remark on that it was cool to see that mix-up of other champions brought here, too, because you're always expecting to see the Lucian mirror matchup at some point. A lot do favor the marksman, especially looking at some of the qualifier tournaments from the solo queue side that led to Darkwings coming and competing in this. But, Freak, looking at this compared to maybe some of the brackets of past years, do you still see it fairly in line, or are there a bit more players here that are more towards the experimentation side as opposed to going with those tried and true picks?
Right, so I think this happens every time there's the 1v1 tourney. We had the Aphromoo versus Froggen, like, zillion no spells 1v1 a few years ago. Like, people do the, like, you know, handshake, like, we're going to play something really stupid. You know, we got, you know, there's the LL Stylish Presser Akali match where they, like, allowed you to play Zed and Akali. Like, I'm a fan of those things, right? Like, let the person play the thing they're famous for. And then you have tryhards who will, you know, just, like, ban Pyke away from, you know, like, this guy's a Pyke one trick, well, your champion's gone. And I don't hate that either, right? Like, I'm okay with either side of it. But yeah, like, some players, like, it's for fun, whatever, like, we're putting on a show, and then some players, like, really, really try to win. I am happy we had players like Bwipo and, like, Licorice who are just constantly going for the strongest thing available, who are just trying to outskill their opponents time after time. And lo and behold, they get all the way up to the finals, and that's well done. That's, you know, good job to you. And again, it's kind of why I favor Licorice, is he's taken all these games seriously, and I know as a player, he's one of the 5 best in NA in the first place.
That's just getting my excitement rolling. I think Mark and I need to go get some popcorn because, Freak, it is you and Captain Flowers that are bringing us into this NA Red Bull 1v1 tournament. So take it away, my friend.
Thank you very much. I am now joined by yours and my favorite military personnel. It is Captain Flowers. Raise your salutes. How you doing, buddy?
Hell yeah, brother. I am glad to be casting some League of Legends, despite your best attempts to mental boom me with Jin puns and encouraging random people on Twitter to post with randomly poorly shooped images of Jin's face on objects that are not Jin. We're here, and we're ready to get into it, man. It's the grand finale of our best of not our best of ones, no, of our 1v1 tournament, the best of the whole thing up against each other. High and Licorice, and hey, I don't know if you saw this, but High was actually tweeting earlier. He was like, what champion should I play? So he was looking for spicy ideas from people.
That's good. Well, yeah, I'm curious if there's anything that really does beat Licorice here. I'm actually just instantly surprised Licorice is banning fighters away. I know High did play that like half a season in jungle for Cloud9, but realistically, you know, a champ like Olaf, very good in 1v1, much more of a Licorice champion than a High champion. I mean, he's banning away things that Bwipo played. I'm curious if that's just like what the nod is or what. I'm trying to see if they're banning like their names. Like if High bans Aurelia here, it's Heimer, Alistair, Aurelia, and it's spelling High. Like that would be great. Like I'm a fan of that, right?
Yeah.
So yes,
I
was right.
That's
I called
all
it.
right. That is actually OP. That is the Chad energy right there. Spell out your own name. Just to let him know that you're more concerned about making sure you look cool when you win than you are about him even being able to beat you.
Now, is he banning OPL? Like, what's going on here? No, OPA?
No, only the first two letters matter, dude. He's banning the OPs.
Okay,
like, Olaf, Pantheon, and Akali are all pretty busted. So just take all those off the table. Put yourself in a spot where you're feeling good. Looks like Licorice might want to monkey around a little bit here.
I like it.
High looking at that Tristana. This is one of those champions, I feel like there's only a couple champs, Freak, that you can actually, and pretty much they're all marksmen, that you can get the turret win condition in this with, and Tristana's one of the really good ones.
Yes, Tristana is absolutely stellar. Has really good interaction with the Wukong in the first place. If you expect when Cycle comes in, you can start Rocket Jump. The knockup hits you, but then Rocket Jump finishes casting and you get out of there. There is some good interaction on the other side, though, because if you are aiming, let's say, Buster Shot or Explosive Charge at a Wukong, and he hits Decoy during the cast animation, it will retarget your spell onto the decoy. Like, the spell goes off. You go hit the thing, and
it just goes off on the wrong thing.
Right. It's really cool. So there's really deep counterplay there that you cannot do reactively. Like, just humans aren't fast enough. Even a robot, in a lot of cases, won't be fast enough. But if you're like, he would Explosive Charge here, or he would Cyclone here, you can hit the button on your keyboard, and then it'll work out in the end, and you'll get out of there. So there's a lot of predictive mechanics in this matchup, and it's a really big deal. Like, all of Triss damage is an Explosive Charge. So if that gets bricked, that's GG. If you manage to land the full first Cyclone Charge into Q smack, like, yeah, that's GG. Like, that one's done. So, you know, I'm curious to see how this one fights off. As a quick recap of the rules, first 2 kills.
Gotta do that.
Whoever gets a kill during sudden death when the ring spawns at about level 11, or first to knock down the turret.
Yeah. And remember that you get an empowered recall if you get a kill before the ring spawns, so you're able to reset, get back to base, and you don't feel like you're at a disadvantage for killing your opponent, so that's always nice. Also, I love it when these come down to Ring of Fire. It makes everything feel so much cooler and so much more badass. And why most people would probably think, okay, if it comes down to Ring of Fire, it's Wukong versus a marksman. The marksman's in a bad spot. I love to see people pick champions that have a yeet button in this mode. Because if you knock them into the Ring of Fire, they just get absolutely destroyed. Speaking of which, a lot of damage coming down into both health bars here early on. Barrier and Ignite traded 1-for-1 on the summoner spells here, but both players down to 200 HP, my friend.
Yes, indeed. So now it's time for the regen and double Doran's Blade. It has Omnivamp now, not just Lifesteal, so the Explosive Charge passive when you blow up minions, that works too. You get like 12 health back off of the minions doing this, which is pretty solid. Licorice, of course, trying to regen back up as well, plus his Doran's Shield, so he's doing okay. You can see the farm is fairly close. It is going to be a theoretical farm lead to Licorice, especially when you're seeing High miss CS once in a while. So see if he can lick his wounds well enough as they've chugged through all their potions. But yeah, Licorice, you're seeing, you know, fairly healthy, already level 5 here as well. And is there a re-engage? Yes, jumps in, big damage into High, and then just, you know, hops right back out, only takes so much damage from the charge.
All right, Freak. I know you've done a lot of research into like the math and the numbers and the spreadsheets behind League of Legends, and despite the fact that you enjoy low-quality pun humor, I know that you're actually a big brain guy. So I want to ask your opinion here.
Great.
How do you feel about the Sheen starting item? Because usually we don't see something like this. It's more about multiple Dorians, like you can see with the Tristana here. Maybe grabbing some extra base stats on tier 1 items, but instantly going for the Sheen on the Wukong.
Right, so I'm immediately taking the line that Licorice probably knows what he's doing, right? So the logic here is the only way you ever win a melee versus range matchup is to push them out. If you're like, oh, I'm just going to like out-regen your poke, like, it's not going to happen. You're not going to out-regen the poke unless you're Set or Maokai. So you need to be able to threaten them. You need to be able to like threaten the all-in. And so Sheen actually works really, really well with Wukong's early game trading pattern, right? It's E in auto, W forward, auto, 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 and then you usually get one more Q on the way out, or something like this, right? So there you go, and then into the instant Cyclone. And so in that case, you only got 2 Sheen procs. If you want to play it a little bit slower, you can E auto, chase, and then just Q after 1.5 seconds and get 2 Sheen procs really early that way. In this one, he went for the level 6 version, which was just Q right away. Second Q turns into ult, and that's just like a different trading pattern. But essentially, it's saying, look, if I can actually put damage onto high, which, hey, by the way, my Sheen does like 80 damage at level 4, plus, like, well, that's enough to actually push him out. That's a bigger damage spike than anything else I can buy.
Licorice also picking up those plated steel caps immediately now. As soon as he's got the money for it, the Wukong needs some shoes to make sure that the enemy range champion cannot kite him out. I always love to see this kind of decision-making happening. It always makes me just cringe a little bit when I see somebody complaining about a range versus melee matchup and then they don't have any shoes.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to change up that plan a little bit right now, my friend. That is not the sauce for your success right about now. But Licorice still has half the cooldown waiting on him on his ulti. High has the advantage in terms of tools available to go right here, right now. Licorice does go forward, hits him one time over the head there with the stick, loses his bone plating. Okay, so another thing I want your opinion on right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that if you're playing melee into ranged, bone plating is a noob trap. And I'm not calling Licorice a noob, but I'm saying that he fell into a trap that a noob would fall into. So because I actually think bone plating is terrible in range versus melee.
So yeah, if you're getting poked a lot, I agree. However, the way that these kind of fights work is like Tristana does want to layer like 4 autos into you really fast. Like her entire trading pattern is not auto once, right? It's not Jace where it's just like, here's a shock blast, haha, it's on cooldown. Like she has to explosive charge auto, 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 and so you will get bone plating value. Now, it still might be that you really, really want that little bit of second wind poke and regen from that, but it does actually fit the combat pattern at least.
All right, Licorice, let's see what you got here, buddy. Still just farming up those minions, grabbing up the extra little bit of heal there. He's only 8 minions behind, and there's still 5 left to farm on the map, so the CS is essentially even here. Licorice going for the all-in yet again, but the fully charged explosive shot plus the buster plus PTA. Licorice is now down below half HP. Does still have barrier, does still have ignite. Cyclone's ready to go.
That's true. So the curiosity is, maybe you can make this fight happen. He's trying right there, right? Ian Q's backwards, hits the minion, unfortunately, but still goes to the decoy to dodge away. Big damage on a high, and he's burning with ignite. Is it enough? One more tick would kill, but it's not. If he hadn't Q'd a minion, Licorice would have found that kill.
Oh my goodness, dude. The smallest things. One error can be the difference between getting the kill or not in so many of these fights. And on that one, Licorice ends up just being one hit short of it. Got to go back to base now. Want to touch on what you said at the very beginning of the match. Remember when Freak was doing the table setting for the rules here? He mentioned that the Ring of Fire is going to show up about the time you see the players hit level 11. So considering Licorice is level 10, High just hit level 9. He was a little bit behind in the EXP department. You are going to see that Ring of Fire here in about another minute or two. So time is running out. We're seeing the end of this one sooner than later.
Yeah, you're looking at about 2 more waves. I think you can actually even track it based on when cannons show up, because I believe, like, as you get the 30-second warning, you finally get one more cannon to kill, and then you can take, like, the last-minute recall there, and, that's with, maximum money. So we are just a few waves away, but yes, if you really grind it out, you can get 12 as well. So yeah, again, we're like 4-ish waves away from that point happening, which again is just a minute and a half or so. Items still coming through, moving towards Trinity Force, I do believe, based on the components here for Licorice. Might be able to farm enough for it, so there's a sudden death. There's basically, one more wave coming in. You can't really greet another one past it, but this is the cannon wave you can push in for your last recall.
Yeah, the thing starts in 15 seconds, and even after it technically starts, it doesn't really begin moving for like another 10 seconds after that. So you do have a little bit of a grace period here. Licorice does not want to risk anything because this Ring of Fire just deletes you. If you're in it for like a second, you're dead.
Okay,
so
wow.
Yeah, he can't afford to be caught out here at all. High is just going to stick around in the brushes. He does not get to go back. He will not get to complete his mythic item.
High doesn't know. Like, High doesn't know if Licorice is in that brush right now, right? Because Licorice recalled it in the brush. So High is like, oh, no, I can't get one shot. And he's like, oh, I see him. He went back. Oh, crap, he has Triforce. Like,
yeah,
oh, that's rough.
And here he goes. He's already starting off the fight. Licorice just immediately ready to go in with Cyclone number 2. Manages to force High to jump away. Now re-entering into the fight. And there you go. Licorice with the kill and taking the win in sudden death.
Really nicely done. High never got to get Buster shot off. Obviously, Licorice wants to go in well before they hit the ring. Right? Make sure I can fight you. Make sure I can go in. I don't want to lose to getting Buster shot into the Ring of Fire. And that was the correct timing. I mean, again, a lot of it is, okay, I will take down half that cannon wave. I'll get my recall off in time. He had just enough for Triforce money. I think he sold Doran's shield and the refillable to make that happen. That's correct. Obviously, that's a huge pickup, and yeah, Ninja Tabby, aka plated steel caps now plus Triforce. He had a power spike, and High did not.
Yeah, I like Licorice's itemization the whole time through. You pointed out going in as soon as he got there on that Ring of Fire to avoid the yeet and delete win condition. His decision making for everything but the bone plating. I still don't like the bone plating. Everything past that. And that's just a minor detail, right? Bone plating versus second win. That's most of the time not going to cause you to lose or win the game. But the decision-making from Licorice here, I really liked. And now I'm curious how High is going to adapt to this. Because clearly the Tristana versus the Wukong did not work. Does High actually ban serious champions this time? Or does he continue to spell his name? That's my big question.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he switches to Lamb, instead of High, right? Just get first and last name together. Like that would be at least one way to do the ban meta. But you're still not getting rid of things that are good, for the matchup. So I mean, it's what you want out of it, right? Again, I don't think High comes into this one like he can probably feel confident, but like deep down, I think he knows he's not favored in this fight. But he's also played exclusively Marksman throughout the entire thing. And what's fun is Licorice even, like, he had some homie bans, Like, he's the one who banned Akali and Pantheon and Olaf and said, look, I will ban myself out to make it a bit easier for you, High. Let's try again round 2. And he's doing it yet again, right? Like, Licorice is giving High 3 bans. And High is going to be like, okay, yeah, we can stack this up. Let's go.
All right, High banning the Wukong immediately here. Does not want to play against that one a second time. Licorice is here. It's all business, man. The dude came to play today. Let's see if his bans stay the same throughout this one. The Irelia will stay banned, just like High banned it last time around. Apparently that wasn't just to spell his name. That was actually a serious one. The Heimerdinger was banned away last time by High. Yeah. So this time, Licorice will go ahead and take that one off the table. So we're going to see 3 champions the same from the first ban stage.
That's true. Licorice is giving him some homie bands, He's like, here you go. Don't worry, I'll get rid of them too. Obviously, yes, Heimer is a good 1v1 champ. Sure, Irelia is not too bad. Wukong, obviously, again, High banning correctly. I'm still really expecting this. So we got Wit. I don't think that's really that good of a spelling.
No.
And Oha. Yeah, Wit and Oha, I think it's right there. And look at just the insta-lock. Like, I like this. Like,
wow,
like,
they're
okay,
ready.
I think you're playing Trist. I'm going to go Poppy. He, knows the tier list. He's got the answers ready.
The Poppy picked up in this one. That is not a champion I was expecting to see. I hope it's Chad Poppy. I hope it's Poppy that builds a Sunderer or a Trinity Force and just goes in and smacks you around. This champion could surprise people a lot of the time, especially if she's not currently in the meta. People haven't seen her for a while. They forget how much damage she can do with the combo of hitting you with just everything after the wall slam. I'm excited for this. I feel like the speed that he locked it in means Licorice 100% has a plan here. Also, look at the summoner spells. No Ignite. We almost always see the Ignite here in the 1v1s, but this time around, he's opting for Barrier to survive the burst and Flash so he gets the angle for the wall slam, and I really like that.
I mean, the big thing, right? You instantly win in sudden death if you yeet him back to his fountain. If the ult lands full charge, it is over. You have won the Rebel 1v1 tourney, and the game is done. So,
he automatically
always
loses.
that condition. Now, the other half of it is obviously Hai can dodge it with Slice and Dice or his own flash if he has it. Like, there's a lot of counterplay available. The Renekton stun will stop the channel. Then it's going to be too late for you. But if it lands right, it's GG. There's absolutely no counterplay. It's done. I expect, though, outside of the yeet and delete, as you incredibly eloquently. I don't know how long you were holding that one, but I imagine it was a smart one regardless.
I just like to say yeet.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's a good term. I like to say Jin, in place of the word in.
So does everyone.
We've got a new meme. It's great. But I expect Hai to be favored in the actual 1v1 battle. Now, maybe with Bramblevest it's actually really rough and it's not possible. Licorice may, in fact, just go full tank Poppy. But I don't expect full tank Poppy to win the straight-up battle.
Well, Hai is immediately jumping in here trying to trade against him. Procs the bone plating with his hits. And remember that Renekton's W is a 2-hit ability, so you instantly are going to get more value out of bone plating against something like that just because, hey, he's trying to hit you multiple times in short succession. Turns out you have multiple plates. Nice stuff. Licorice now getting himself stunned up yet again as Hai continues to use that aggressive Renekton trading pattern. Already getting to start at level 3 means you just get to play that ideal situation constantly. No level 1 or level 2 vulnerability. However, the stun into the wall. This is what I was talking about, Freak. If you're not used to playing against it, you're like, wait, that stunned me?
Yep, and the barrier got wasted as well. Like, Hai didn't get anything out of that one. Licorice is disengaged and chilled, and if he's got another stun, he's got almost the kill right now already. The Ignite is on, and Hai can't live. So Licorice pops the FlyQuest logo and takes down Hai for his blood.
He got him, dude, and he switched off the summoner spells, too. They were barrier and flash in the lobby, but then he changed them before they loaded in. So the barrier is gone. It's just ignite. It gives him the kill pressure he needs, and there it is. You can't stop the Poppy, and Licorice gets his first kill. What, 2 minutes into this game?
Yeah. So Flowers, I have a question because Licorice is seemingly going towards tank Poppy, but I mean he's scrapping, he's brawling, he's killing Hais. Does it still count as Chad Poppy?
He just solo killed Renekton at level 4 with an Ignite. Yeah, this Poppy's Chad. He wasn't backing away. Like, if he was only building Ruby Crystals and then sitting under turret waiting for a Ring of Fire so he could just try to one-tap him with R, I'd be like, no, this is not Chad at all. But building tank and then still going all in like that, I give him a pass, dude. This is the kind of Poppy I want on my team.
Yep. Same. So far so good then. Right now we've got the match level 5s though. Hai's got to be careful. One thing that's happened more than half the time actually is Hai goes in for the trade, lands a W stun, and he's still got Grievous Wounds on by the time he casts Q. And so the actual healing from his primary sustain tool, the ability he's maxing, is getting cut by 40%. So Hai does need to find a way to play around that of just fully disengaging for 2 seconds before he gets the big heals off, especially if it's an empowered version. Licorice goes in, tackles a minion to get into range, lands double Q, and keep in mind, like, Flash R double Q is basically a kill, but Hai has barrier up.
Right. Well, I mean, the other option that Hai has is just you E, immediately Q, and then W him, right? Because Bramblevest is only going to proc on an auto.
Correct.
So you either have to use the Q right after the first dash before W, or you have to wait, like you're saying, and let the Grievous fall off. But now you're going to be slammed to the wall. Licorice is going after the play, but he's stuck underneath the turret. Oh, you better run away, little Poppy. There's the barrier. There's the croc. But he can't get the kill. Licorice gets out.
Wow. I'm so shocked I couldn't get a kill right there. Obviously, Ruby Crystals pulling their weight here. Obviously, really, really close one. Hai was so close to knocking him down. Didn't quite have the move speed to catch up for one more auto or anything. At least shoves the wave down. And Hai is, yes, he's down that kill, but he's up CS right now. Licorice is going to try to catch as much of that farm as he can. Gets his own boots, goes for his own steel caps, and yeah, Licorice will try to finish his Frostfire Gauntlet in time, see if he can do it.
You want to see that item get completed, really ramps up the burn damage, makes it so he's that much more of a threat offensively, as well as just being so damn hard to kill. So the itemization from Hai is very defensive, very respectful here. Has the Phage plus Ruby Crystal, but also the steel caps already fully completed. Will give him move speed edge over his opponent. But man, it's easy to forget how much free defenses Poppy gets. Between the shield and the bonus armor MR on W, this champion's hard to fight, and Hai's learning that the hard way right now. Licorice just beating the tar out of him here in this 1v1.
And I'm a notable steel caps hater because you are paying so much. Oh, well, never mind. He's just dead. Goodbye.
Okay. Well, hey, he had steel caps and he lost. Freak hates steel caps and the champion with the steel caps lost. Justified. Results-based analysis. ship it. We're good to go. And Licorice is now your 1v1 champion here at All-Stars 2020 in North America. He triumphs over High 2-0 and just stomps them with the Poppy.
Licorice didn't lose a game the entire time through. The North American Red Bull 1v1 champion came through everybody, and honestly, impressive stuff. He took down Dark Wings from the solo queue run through. He took down High in the finals, no problem there at all. I mean, honestly, stellar player. I like the pool of champs overall. I think he played this one beautifully. Now, as we are headed to a break, we're going to go out for a bit, but make sure you are following Untold Stories on Spotify, where the most recent episode shows you what goes into the making of a virtual band like KDA. Hear how they found the artists to represent 4 of League's most iconic champions, and more stories like it exclusively on Spotify. Take a look, and we'll catch you here for an interview with the 1v1 champion. And then the script that was spelled H-E-A-R, because podcast is hilarious.